You are living inside a timeline, but it is not the only one that exists for you. Right now, all around you, countless versions of reality are vibrating just outside your perception, just beyond your reach, waiting for you to collapse them into experience. Yet most people remain caught in a single loop, repeating the same patterns, ending up with the same results, feeling the same frustrations, and wondering why nothing ever changes, no matter how badly they wish for something more. Let's be clear, you're not stuck because of fate, destiny, or bad luck. You are stuck because your system, your mind, your body, your emotions, and your frequency are still locked onto the old timeline. You cannot break free by wishing harder. You cannot escape by forcing it. And you cannot trick the quantum field by pretending. A true quantum shift is not about manifesting harder. It is about stepping into a new state of being so completely, so coherently, that the quantum field has no choice but to reflect back an entirely different reality. Most people think manifestation is about desire, about wanting something so badly that the universe eventually gives it to you. But here is the truth that almost no one tells you. Desire alone does not move the quantum. The field does not care about how intensely you want change. It responds to how aligned you are with the vibration of that change. This means that right now, even if you are saying the right affirmations, creating vision boards, visualizing your dream life, you may still be transmitting the frequency of the old timeline. Why is that? Because deep inside, your body is still wired to what is familiar. Your nervous system is addicted to old emotional loops. Your subconscious is sending out signals of fear, doubt, and scarcity. Even while your conscious mind is shouting, "I want abundance, I want love, I want success," the field is registering a different message. And here's the shocking part. The quantum listens to the dominant signal, not the loudest one. The dominant signal comes from your entire system's vibration, not just what you think, but what you feel, what you expect, what you embody. That is why you can say, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times. But if your body contracts with anxiety every time you pay a bill, the field picks up the contraction, not the words. That is why you can visualize love all day. But if your heart remains closed and guarded, the field registers separation, not connection. This is the trap that keeps people spinning inside the old timeline. They believe that change begins with external circumstances, with actions, with results. But the quantum shift begins within, with your inner state, with your coherence, with your alignment. You must become the version of yourself who already lives inside the desired timeline. Not someday in the future, not when proof appears, but right now. And here is where it gets fascinating. Quantum physics shows us that every possibility already exists. Every timeline, every version of you, every outcome you could imagine is already vibrating in the quantum field of potential. When you shift your vibration, you are not creating something out of nothing. You are stepping into the version that was always there, waiting for you. This is why mystics, inventors, and visionaries throughout history spoke of frequency, numbers, and codes. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you understood the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would hold the key to the universe." These numbers are not magic tricks. They point to universal patterns, to the truth that reality organizes itself around vibration. So the real question is not how do I get what I want? The real question is, who must I become vibrationally to match the timeline where it already exists. And becoming is not pretending. Becoming is not faking. Becoming is not performing. Becoming is a complete shift of your being into coherence. This is the beginning of the quantum shift. You are not here to fight against the old timeline. You are here to rise into the frequency of the new one. But before we go deeper into how to do that, I want you to pause and reflect. What version of you has been making your choices today? Which timeline have you been feeding with your focus, your attention, your energy? And are you truly ready to let that version go so that a new one can emerge? Sit with these questions. Breathe into them. Feel the edges they press against inside you. Because next we are going to dive into the hidden forces that keep you trapped in the old loop. The resistance, the subconscious patterns, the emotional imprints that hijack your attempts to shift. This is the layer no one warns you about. The reason why so many people understand the theory of quantum manifestation but never taste the transformation. Are you ready to uncover it? So let's talk about the real reason people don't shift. It's not because they are lazy. It's not because they don't want change badly enough. And it's definitely not because they are doing manifestation wrong. It is because they are still entangled with the version of themselves that learned to survive in the old timeline. And that version, while outdated, feels safe. The subconscious prefers the familiar over progress. The old timeline doesn't need your permission to keep repeating. It just needs your participation. Every time you react the same way, tell the same story, expect the same outcome, the signal is reinforced. It becomes like a well-worn neural pathway in the brain. The more you walk it, the deeper it becomes. And soon that path runs automatically. You are no longer choosing your timeline. It is choosing you. This is where quantum physics and neuroscience meet in a way most people overlook. In quantum mechanics, the observer effect tells us that the very act of observation collapses a wave of infinite potential into a single event, a particle, a reality. But here's the twist. You are not just observing reality with your eyes. You are observing with your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations. Now add neuroscience. 95% of your behavior is driven by the subconscious mind, which stores your emotional conditioning, your traumas, your beliefs, your identity patterns. This means that most of the time, it is not your conscious intention collapsing the wave. It is your subconscious programming. Let that land. You are trying to manifest from the 5% of you that is awake and aware, while the 95% of you is still tuned to fear, lack, distrust, and survival. And the quantum responds to the dominant signal. So when people say manifestation doesn't work, what they are really saying is, I haven't yet shifted the internal observer that collapses my reality. This is why people loop. This is why you can change your job, your partner, your city, and still find yourself facing the same emotional patterns. Because nothing external has the power to override a frequency within you that is not changed. In other words, the timeline cannot shift if the observer has not shifted. So what keeps you anchored to the old one? Most often, it is resistance. And resistance is tricky. It shows up as overthinking, procrastination, emotional numbness, as hyperproductivity, as fear disguised as logic, as the voice that says, be realistic. But resistance always boils down to one thing. Your system believes it is safer to stay where you are, even if you hate it, than to leap into the unknown. And that belief lives in the body. Stored trauma, suppressed emotions, inherited fears, all of them are encoded in your nervous system. That is why you can understand something intellectually but still not live it. That is why affirmations fall flat, why visualizations fade, why you keep circling back into the same cycles. The resistance isn't in your mindset, it is in your chemistry. When your nervous system is dysregulated, it sends signals of threat into the field, even while your mouth is saying, "I'm ready." That energetic contradiction keeps collapsing the same limited outcomes. It's not personal, it's physics. Tesla once said, "If you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This was not a metaphor. It was literal. Your entire life is a frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, your posture, your breath, they all create a vibrational pattern that either draws your desired timeline toward you or pushes it away. That is why so many people are drawn to numbers like 3, 6, 9, 7, 7, 7, or sacred geometry. They sense that the universe speaks in patterns, that frequencies are encoded into the structure of reality. You are not just a person moving through life. You are a frequency generator embedded in a responsive field. And you have been broadcasting the same old pattern for so long that you mistake it for who you are. But here's the good news. You don't have to fight that pattern. You simply have to stop feeding it. Ask yourself, where are you vibrating in fear while declaring faith? Where are you bracing for rejection while seeking love? Where are you chasing abundance while secretly feeling unworthy of it? These subtle contradictions are the reason timelines refuse to shift. Next, we will explore what it really takes to shift timelines, not in theory, but in felt, embodied practice. You will learn how to align the conscious and the subconscious, how to regulate your body into coherence, and how to start living as the version of you that already exists in the new reality. But before we move forward, I want to invite you into something real. If you feel something clicking into place, if a part of you is waking up to your own power, stay close. Grow with us. And in this moment, call out the loop you are ready to break. Maybe it is fear, maybe scarcity, maybe silence. Name it now, not for me, but for you. Because naming the loop is the first step in dissolving it. Now we reach the point most people never arrive at. Not because it is hidden, but because it is so simple they overlook it. Shifting timelines is not about forcing the quantum field to obey you. It is about aligning so fully with the version of yourself who already lives the life you desire that the old timeline cannot hold you anymore. Think of the quantum field as a vast ocean of possibility. Every timeline, every version of you, every outcome exists in that ocean as a wave. When you focus, when you observe, when you align, you collapse a particular wave into form. But here is the key. You don't collapse a wave by wanting it. You collapse it by matching it. And matching isn't just mental, it is emotional, physical, vibrational. It is how your entire system hums when you are in coherence. So why do people struggle to match the new timeline? Because they try to think their way into it. They intellectualize the shift. They say, I know abundance is possible. I know love is out there. I know healing is available, but knowing is not enough. Your body must know. Your emotions must know. Your breath, your posture, your habits, your identity, all of you must signal, I am now the version of me who belongs in this timeline. This is embodiment. And embodiment is not a buzzword, it is the missing link. It is the practice of inhabiting the frequency of your desire before the external world gives you permission. If you are shifting into an abundance timeline, embodiment may mean spending money with trust instead of fear. It may mean breathing calmly when the thought of not enough arises instead of collapsing into panic. It may mean meeting opportunities with openness instead of expecting disappointment. If you are shifting into a love timeline, embodiment may mean softening your heart when you want to shut down, taking emotional risks, practicing vulnerability even when old wounds tell you to hide. If you are shifting into a health timeline, embodiment may mean treating your body as though it is already healing, feeding it with respect, moving it with gratitude, resting it with love. Do you see the pattern? You do not wait for the timeline to shift before you live differently. You live differently, and the timeline shifts. This is why so many manifestation attempts fail. They are conditional. I will feel grateful when the job comes. I will relax when the relationship arrives. I will feel abundant when the money shows up. But the quantum doesn't work like that. It is not testing you or punishing you. It is reflecting you. And reflection happens now, not later. This is where the wisdom of Tesla returns. The power of 3, 6, and 9. The universal harmonics of reality. These are not myths. They are reminders. They guide us back to the truth that life organizes itself around energy, not effort. The real work is, can you stay coherent? Can you align your mind, heart, body, and actions even when nothing external has shifted yet? Can you hold the signal long enough for the wave to collapse? Here's the paradox no one talks about. The timeline does not shift when you grow tired of waiting. The timeline shifts when waiting is no longer part of your vibration. Pause and breathe that in. This is the quantum code. The version of you who already has what you want is not in the future. It is vibrating right now on a frequency you can access today. The question is, will you tune into it? Imagine how your day would look if you acted, breathed, and moved as the version of you who already lives inside the desired timeline. What small choices would shift? What emotional habits would you release? What conversations would end or begin? This is not about dramatic gestures, but about subtle, persistent alignment. The practice is not about perfection, it is about returning. You will wobble. You will slip into old loops. You will find yourself thinking, feeling, or acting from the old frequency. This does not mean you have failed. It means you are human. The power lies not in never falling back, but in how quickly you return. Every time you notice yourself drifting and bring yourself back, you strengthen the new timeline. Every pause, every breath, every choice of coherence over chaos reinforces the shift. Tools can help: breathwork, meditation, visualization, sound frequencies, sacred symbols, numbers like 3, 6, 9, or 777. But remember, these tools are not magic tricks. They are anchors. They help the subconscious receive the message, I am tuned to the new reality. The ritual works because you work. So today, identify one pattern from the old timeline you are ready to disrupt. Choose one small act that embodies the new one. Commit to practicing it with presence, sincerity, and love. It might be as small as 3 conscious breaths before reacting. It might be one sentence spoken from your future self instead of your fearful self. It might be sitting quietly, feeling the frequency of your chosen reality as if it already surrounds you. It does not matter what you do, it matters how you do it. And the quantum responds in the now. You are not alone in this. You are part of a collective awakening of people rediscovering their power, remembering they are creators, learning how to dance with the field. And here is the final step: sustaining the shift. The field does not change if you visit a new frequency once. It reshapes itself around you when you live there. Most approach manifestation as an event. They visualize, affirm, journal, wait. And when results don't arrive immediately, they collapse back into the old frequency. The true magic is in staying. Sustainability is the master key. And this does not mean forcing yourself to feel good all the time or pretending you are high vibration when you are not. It means building the capacity to return again and again to alignment. Every time you wobble and come back, you strengthen the signal. Every time you notice the old loop tugging and gently choose the new one, you reinforce the shift. Every time you act, speak, and move as though you already are the version of yourself who lives that reality, the old timeline loses power. This is not punishment. This is mastery. Start your day not with your to-do list, but with tuning. Ask yourself, what frequency am I bringing into today? Are you carrying fear or trust, expecting struggle or flow? Set the tone before your feet touch the ground. Then live in micro-alignment. Notice when your actions match the timeline you want and when they don't. If you want abundance, are you acting with generosity or with fear? If you want love, are you opening or are you armoring? If you want health, are you nurturing or are you neglecting? Small, consistent shifts matter more than dramatic leaps. You will be triggered, you will doubt, you will fall into old patterns. That is human. The power is not in avoiding it, but in returning. Surround yourself with symbols, communities, reminders that anchor you to your chosen frequency. Let gratitude amplify it. Gratitude is the vibration of already having, and when you practice it, you tell the quantum, I am aligned, I am receptive, I am whole. You are not chasing the timeline, you are becoming the timeline. Right now, you are not the same person who pressed play on these words. You are vibrating differently. You are carrying a new awareness, a new code, a new possibility inside you. The magic is not in remembering every line. It is in what you do next. So here's the invitation. In the next 24 hours, surprise yourself. Do one thing that belongs to the version of you already living your chosen reality. It does not need to be big. It only needs to be real. And when you do it, know this. You are no longer waiting for change. You are being change. Keep going. Keep choosing. Keep surprising yourself. Because when you do, the quantum field always responds. You are living inside a timeline, but this timeline is not the only one available to you. Imagine reality like an endless library where each book contains a different version of your life. Right now, you are reading from one book, one story, one sequence of events. But in that library, countless other stories about you already exist. Some of those books describe a version of you who is abundant, deeply loved, free, thriving. Others describe versions of you who remain trapped in fear, scarcity, and doubt. All of those possibilities are real, but only one is active in this moment. The question is not whether those other stories exist. The question is, will you continue to keep reading from the same familiar book, or will you dare to pick up a new one? Most people stay stuck because the familiar feels safe. Even pain can feel safe when it is predictable. Your body becomes used to certain emotions. Your brain creates well-worn patterns. Your nervous system expects the same reactions. You might consciously say you want something new, but unconsciously your entire being is addicted to what it already knows. This is why change feels so hard. It is not because the new reality is unavailable. It is because your system is loyal to the old one. Think of it like a radio that has been tuned to one station for years. Even if you want to hear different music, as long as the dial stays in the same place, the same frequency will keep playing. But here's the hidden power you carry. You are not only the listener, you are also the one holding the dial. The moment you shift your frequency, you shift the station. And when you shift the station, you shift the reality you experience. This is not about forcing outcomes or begging the universe to give you what you want. This is about resonance. The universe is not giving or withholding. It is reflecting. It is mirroring back to you the signal you are broadcasting most consistently. That is why so many people feel confused. They say the right affirmations, they visualize the perfect life, but nothing seems to change. The reason is not that manifestation doesn't work. The reason is that the dominant signal is still coming from old wounds, old fears, old programs. The quantum field is listening to your vibration, not your words. Pause for a moment and feel into this. How many times have you said, "I am ready for more," while secretly bracing for disappointment? How many times have you declared, "I am abundant," while still feeling anxious the moment you check your bank account? How many times have you told yourself, "I am lovable," while tightening your chest at the thought of true intimacy? These contradictions are not failures. They are simply proof of where your energy is tuned. And until the inner observer shifts, the outer timeline cannot. Think about the observer effect in quantum physics. Scientists discovered that the very act of observing changes the outcome of an experiment. A wave of infinite potential collapses into a particle, into a concrete reality, the moment it is observed. But here is what most people don't realize. You are not observing only with your eyes. You are observing with your expectations, with your emotional state, with your subconscious identity. If 95% of your behavior comes from your subconscious, then most of the time it is that deeper part of you collapsing the wave, not the conscious 5% that is saying affirmations. This means that unless you shift the internal observer, you keep collapsing the same limited wave over and over. New timeline, same energy. New city, same heartbreak. New job, same stress. New partner, same patterns. Different scenery, same vibration. So how do you change this? You begin by realizing that resistance is not an enemy to fight. It is simply a survival pattern. Your system believes it is safer to hold on to the known than to risk the unknown, even if the known is painful. That resistance shows up in clever disguises. It looks like procrastination, like overthinking, like numbing yourself with distractions. It hides in hyperproductivity, in the voice of reason that says, "Be realistic." But beneath all those masks, resistance is just fear whispering. Stay here. At least this is familiar. And familiarity feels safe to the nervous system. To shift timelines, you must learn how to calm that system, how to teach your body that the unknown is not danger, but possibility. This is where embodiment enters. You cannot think your way into a new timeline. You cannot simply declare it with words. You must inhabit it with your entire being. Embodiment means living as though the shift has already occurred. If you are aligning with abundance, it means practicing trust with money instead of panic. If you are aligning with love, it means opening your heart even when your mind wants to close. If you are aligning with health, it means treating your body with care and gratitude as though healing is already present. These small acts are not just symbolic, they are vibrational keys. Each one tells the quantum, "This is who I am now." And the field reflects back the version of reality that matches. The magic of this is that you do not have to be perfect. You will slip into old loops. You will catch yourself thinking and acting from the old timeline. That does not mean you failed. It means you are alive. The power lies in how quickly you return. Every time you bring yourself back to the new frequency, you strengthen it. Every breath, every choice, every act of coherence reinforces the timeline you are choosing. This is the dance of quantum embodiment. It is not about force, it is about return. Not about perfection, but persistence. Not about chasing, but becoming. You may have heard people speak about numbers, about the power of 3, 6, and 9, about sacred geometry and sound frequencies. These are not superstitions. They are echoes of a deeper truth. Reality is built on vibration and pattern. The ancients knew it, mystics whispered it, Tesla declared it. When you see repeating numbers, when you feel drawn to symbols, what you are sensing is the language of the universe reminding you that frequency comes first, form comes second. You are not just moving through life, you are generating frequencies that sculpt life itself. And when you shift the frequency, the sculpture changes. So the question is not, will it work? The question is, will you become the signal long enough for the field to rearrange around you? Because here is the paradox. The timeline does not shift when you grow impatient. The timeline shifts when impatience leaves your vibration altogether. Waiting itself is a frequency, and the moment waiting dissolves, the new timeline arrives. Every possibility already exists. Every outcome, every path, every version of you that could ever be imagined is alive in the quantum field of potential. You are not creating something from nothing. You are not begging the universe to deliver a miracle. You are choosing which version of yourself you will embody, and the field simply mirrors back what you have become. That is why alignment matters more than effort. That is why coherence matters more than desire. It is not about trying harder, it is about tuning more precisely. Think of a guitar string. When it is in tune, it vibrates in harmony with the other strings. When it is out of tune, no amount of forcing will create beautiful music. Your life works the same way. The moment you tune yourself to the vibration of the timeline you want, harmony becomes inevitable. But let's be honest, most people never get this far. Most people collect techniques and consume information, but never truly embody the shift. They binge watch videos. They repeat mantras. They visualize for a few minutes a day, and then they return to living from the same old emotional states. And then they wonder why nothing changes. It is not because the field is ignoring them. It is because the field is perfectly obeying the frequency they are actually radiating. This is why I tell you, knowledge is not the transformation. Embodiment is the transformation. You can know all the theories, you can memorize all the laws of attraction, but until your nervous system, your body, and your emotions are sending a new signal, you are still tuned to the old station. So ask yourself honestly, what signal are you broadcasting when no one is watching? When you are alone, when you wake in the morning, when you go to sleep at night, what emotions dominate your inner world? Is it trust or doubt? Is it gratitude or fear? Is it love or longing? These are not abstract ideas. They are the frequencies shaping the timeline you live in. The quantum does not judge you, it does not reward or punish you. It reflects you. Always faith reflected, fear reflected, coherence reflected, chaos reflected. The field does not lie. It is an honest mirror, and it shows you exactly what you are sending out. This is why small shifts can be so powerful. Because the field is not measuring size, it is measuring coherence. A tiny act done in complete alignment can move mountains in the quantum. Taking one conscious breath in the middle of panic, choosing to open your chest instead of shutting down in fear, spending money with trust instead of guilt, speaking one word of love instead of silence. These are not small. They are quantum declarations. Each one collapses a different wave. Each one selects a new version of you. Each one proves to the field, I am no longer the old self, I am becoming the new. But here is what often happens. People think that once they feel the shift, the work is over. They feel high for a moment, inspired, clear, and then life triggers them again. The old emotions return, the old thoughts reappear, and they assume the shift has failed. That moment is not failure. That moment is initiation. The real test of coherence is not when you are meditating or visualizing. The real test is when life pokes your old wounds, when fear tries to rise, when doubt whispers in your ear. That is when you choose again. That is when you breathe, return, and align once more. Every return strengthens the signal. Every return proves that you are serious. Every return rewires your system. This is how timelines stabilize, not through perfection, but through repetition, not through avoiding the trigger, but through transforming your response to it. Think of it like walking a new path through a forest. The first time you step onto it, the way is rough, overgrown, unclear. But each time you walk it, the path becomes clearer, smoother, easier. Soon it is natural. The old path is still there, but it is fading. Your nervous system works the same way. Every time you choose the new vibration, you deepen that path. And one day, without effort, you notice that it has become your default. That is when you realize the shift is no longer something you are trying to do. It is who you are. Now imagine what happens when you extend this practice into every corner of your life. When your mornings begin not with rushing into tasks, but with tuning into frequency. When your days are guided not by survival, but by alignment. When your nights end not in exhaustion, but in gratitude. This is not fantasy. This is the discipline of coherence. It is what turns information into transformation. It is what separates those who talk about manifestation from those who live it. The field does not need months or years to respond. It responds now. The only question is, will you hold the new signal long enough for reality to catch up? So as you finish listening to these words, know this. You are not the same as when you began. Something inside you has shifted. A new awareness is alive within you. A new vibration is humming in your field. The question is, will you nurture it? Will you feed it? Will you return to it again and again until it becomes who you are? Because if you do, the old timeline cannot hold you anymore. The new one will claim you. The new one will become home. And one day, not long from now, you will look around and realize that everything has changed. The people, the opportunities, the experiences, the way you feel in your body, the way you see the world, it will all reflect the signal you chose to embody. And you will smile because you will know it was never luck, never coincidence, never fate. It was always you, your vibration, your coherence, your alignment, your choice. So breathe deeply, feel the new timeline opening, step into it fully, and know with every cell in your body, with every beat of your heart, that reality has shifted. Not because you begged for it, not because you forced it, but because you became it. And once you become it, the quantum has no choice but to reflect it. This is the secret. This is the code. This is the shift. And it is yours now.